The world's first billionaire. Imagine controlling 90% of an entire industry's output. A man who fought presidents, crushed rivals, and became one of the most powerful figures in history, John D. Rockefeller. Today we will summarize his entire story in 5 minutes, a journey that began with ambition and ended in a transformation no one expected. But few people know this. That man grew up in hunger, chaos, and deception. Born in 1839 to a poor farming family, his father, Devil Bill, disappeared for months at a time, selling fake medicines under different names. His mother, meanwhile, was one of the most disciplined, hard-working, and religious women imaginable. By the age of 10, John was working in the fields and raising turkeys to bring money home. There was never enough money, but one sentence kept repeating in John's mind, "I must become rich." At 16, he made a decision. He quit school and searched for work, even though everyone told him it was a mistake. One day, a bookkeeping firm hired him simply because they liked his handwriting. From that day on, he celebrated September 26th as Job Day for the rest of his life. But when the economy collapsed, his firm collapsed with it. At just 18 years old, John knew he would soon be out of work. Yet he didn't panic. Instead, he partnered with a chemist from the next street, Morris Clark, and founded their own company. When the Civil War began, prices skyrocketed, and John made a fortune. Then the opportunity that would change his destiny appeared, an oil refinery. After the oil boom of 1859, the small amount John had invested turned into massive profits within a few years. Working with a team that mastered the acid refining technique for kerosene, he built one of Cleveland's largest refineries, and profits exploded. But as the storm approached, John prepared to take an even bigger risk. Oil prices were wildly unstable. 10 cents one day, $14 the next. Competitors were panicking, but Rockefeller noticed something crucial. Transportation cost was the true key to the war. Rockefeller made secret deals with the railroads and secured discounts of up to 75%. Meanwhile, his competitors were all forced to pay full price. This was the moment he'd been waiting for. He launched a price war. He cut his price. Competitors cut theirs. But they forgot one thing. Their costs were much higher. One by one, refineries went bankrupt. Rockefeller bought all failing refineries for almost nothing. This period went down in history as the Cleveland Massacre. Rockefeller was only 30 years old. Once rivals were gone, Rockefeller unified his empire under one name, Standard Oil. With hundreds of refineries, an enormous transportation network, and secret contracts, he consolidated America's oil under a single hand. On the map, it spread like an octopus, and it's exactly why people began calling it the octopus. Tom Scott, head of the Pennsylvania Railroad, declared war on Rockefeller and built his own refineries. Rockefeller struck back. He pulled all shipments away from Pennsylvania, slashed prices, and pressured other railroads into lowering their rates. The result? The Pennsylvania Railroad collapsed. Violent strikes erupted across the country, and Tom Scott suffered a stroke. Rockefeller won. At the same time, a steel versus oil war began with Andrew Carnegie. One of the greatest wealth duels in history. Around this time, Edison's light bulb appeared. Everyone panicked that oil would die. But Rockefeller again saw opportunity. New oil fields were discovered. Automobiles were emerging. Gasoline, once considered useless waste, suddenly became the most valuable fuel on Earth. Standard Oil grew richer than ever. Then a journalist named Ida Tarbell exposed Rockefeller's dark past to the entire country. President Theodore Roosevelt saw an opportunity. He launched a war against Standard Oil. In 1911, the Supreme Court broke Standard Oil into 34 separate companies. It looked like a defeat, but each company went public, and Rockefeller owned shares in all of them. His wealth tripled. Rockefeller became the world's first billionaire. He spent his final years on philanthropy, donating billions in today's money to modern medicine, education, and scientific research. His son once said, "There has never been another Rockefeller like him." A man who held this much power. Was he truly a hero or a monster? You decide. And if you want to hear the untold stories of other billionaires, don't forget to subscribe.